Merry Christmas! I'm Zachary Fowler, and welcome to Sunday morning's live stream. I titled it Epic Fail because I did not manage to finish my 87 days video this week, so we will not be taking a boat trip with the Reed boat, but it is coming along awesome. It's right out here in the backyard. I decided to build it here at my house in Union, Maine, and which I kind of regretted a little bit. There's the traffic sounds, the camera's picking it up a lot, so it won't be as rustic as the rest of my videos, which are all way out in the woods at where I've been building the shelter and everything. And big time fail. I didn't get enough of the boat even built to make it look even remotely worth like making a video out of it for you guys. There was so much to find a new spot for reeds, put the reeds together. It's coming along really well. It's going to be awesome. But the cool thing is Christmas Eve day, and the video will be out, 87 days, the Reed boat. I'll have enough time to finish this week, paddle it around a bunch. You get to see the Reed boat and, watch it again on Christmas Day with your families and stuff like that. It'll be awesome. It's going to be great. But I do have a video coming out this afternoon. I changed gears last minute, and when I realized yesterday I wasn't going to finish it in time. So I finally did the match video. So this afternoon at some point, I'm hoping by like 2 or 3 o'clock, I will have the match lighting video, not lighting, but the match making video. I just made new matches. So I made a video all about how to make your own Strike Anywhere matches. And that'll be out this afternoon, Sunday afternoon by, I don't know, sometime after 3 o'clock, between 3 and 5 o'clock. It came out pretty good. It was fun making some matches. I even had an explosive situation during the matchmaking, and it's going to be in the video, which just makes it more exciting. So if you got a question for me, try to leave a double question mark at the ends of your questions so that I can, and keep them short. Keep it short because I'm very dyslexic and very slow reader. I wish I was like on such a roll, getting these 87 days videos out and stuff, and I was like, I so wanted to have one more for this Sunday, YouTube really likes it if you keep it going, you keep the rhythm, they get you more brownie points, and it's like you get the views if you keep up the workload. You get the views that you deserve, and they'll share them with a lot of people. What other YouTubers do you like to watch? That's a funny thing. It's like I usually watch, I don't watch survival videos all that much. Like I get my survival stuff from reading books, old books. But and yes, I will be doing a YouTube video on that as soon as I unpack the rest of my books that I have, and stuff like that about what books that I've read over the years. That's where I learn all my stuff from. So I don't really like to watch YouTube survivalists. I find most of the time their videos are so slow and they add too much. I want to learn stuff. I don't want to sit there and watch mushrooms grow. And so I don't tend to watch. I do watch Dan Walwack because he has amazing survival tips. I'm watching him the other day. I see he puts up this thing about a teapot, and I'm picturing lashing on a handle so you don't burn your hand, and he's got this handle, and he ties a string in a stick, and boom, all of a sudden he's got a way to hang his pot, and it took him 2 seconds, and my overly elaborate mind had came up with this crazy one. One book I can recommend is Primitive Technologies. The guy that does Primitive Technologies, he came from a school that has a book out, or a couple volumes, Primitive Technologies, and the Foxfire books, the best books out there. I'm missing one. If I knew which volume it is, I'd say something to you guys. You could keep your eye out for it for me. The Foxfire books, the best books. Favorite book of all time, Popular Mechanics series. The old ones, the red volumes. I love those. As a kid pouring through those, just the soap box cars, all those crazy things. Those were the ones I got my ideas from, that I would always go out and try to make my own, replicate things, and end up electrocuting myself and other things, because those books didn't bother to, they showed you all kinds of stuff, like how to take your drill and turn it into a drill press. You never know what you're going to learn from them. Did you ever work at a boatyard in Northport? Yes, I did. Who is this? I did work at a boatyard in Northport, Northeast Boat for Josh Howard. Building boats for, I don't know, it was like 5 years. Until I went on alone and I was like, forget this, I'm done. I had a hardest time coming back and concentrating on work until the show ended and it was revealed that I had won. And now I'm full-time on YouTube. Did you quit caffeine before you went to boot camp? I did not, and I had a major headache. When I went to boot camp, I did not quit caffeine. I did quit caffeine. Obviously, I've had a lot of caffeine this morning. So I had a major headache at boot camp. It was a major pain in the neck and hard to focus. So when I got to Patagonia, I quit drinking coffee the week before we went into the wild, but it wasn't an issue because all they had is instant coffee there. So, yeah, and then I never had a headache. I never had a headache when I stopped, so I don't know what was up with boot camp and why I had a headache, just staving headache the whole time. I kept drinking lots of water. It was miserable. And, but I still managed to keep a smile on my face and make it through the boot camp and get on the show. Let's see. Excuse my finger if you see it come into the shot here as I'm scrolling through and reading people's comments. I already said that. What's your... Saw your wife and first thought. First thought when I saw my wife in Patagonia is, oh my goodness, this is the best thing ever. I don't know. I can't remember an exact first thought. It was just like, I didn't even care that she told me that I won. I was just like, just so happy to see her. Any keto videos or websites? I do have a keto, Jimmy Moore is the one who I read his book about keto clarity, and I'm doing a interview with Jimmy Moore through Skype, and so I will post that. Maybe I'll post a picture on with a link to it or something like that on my website or something, or maybe I'll mention it again or I don't know, do some sort of a thing in the vlog or something like that about how the keto life has been going for me. I'm feeling good. I'm really healthy, and I love it. It's like some people a lot of people have been telling me they're getting into the keto diet. Some to lose weight, some just to be healthier, some because they want more energy, and all of which are great reasons, and all are things that the keto diet does for you. Especially if you have mild, what do you call it, like diabetes, a mild case, you can do the keto diet and actually get off your medicine. I don't think I will ever do a survival school. I'm gonna try to. I'm really loved Dan Walwack's land. If you haven't seen the vlogs and the stuff where I go to visit Walwack, Cold Cracker Bushcraft and his bushcraft school and his beautiful primitive setup there with his yurts and things like that. I want to build a giant place up at my land, cleaning it all up, getting rid of the old camper and the old yurt, and make a giant primitive like Viking house where I can host events, but I'm not gonna get into the teaching a school continually because I want to make what I want to make whenever I want to make it. That's why I do YouTube. I want to have the adventures when I want to have them, and like you see me doing. And the other day, the Christmas video, shooting a bunch of bottles with a slingshot. I dreamt it up. It took 2 days to get somebody to help me to tune the bottles, or one day that we tuned the bottles, the next day we took them outside and lined them all up and shot them, and then another day for me to edit. It was like probably 18 hours altogether to put that 1 minute video together, just so it was just the way I want it, from thought to from conception to you guys watching it. So that's what I like to do. So if I go and get involved in a school and I got to be teaching classes and stuff, I'd love to host events and do special things like Boy Scouts, or if there's like a group a couple times a year, it could have people come up to the land and do things. In the background here's my old video there of me decorating the Christmas tree with a slingshot. If you guys, and I forgot to mention, I should have said this sooner. If you guys are any of them thinking about buying something for my website for Christmas present for somebody, make sure you get it before the 18th if you want to get it on time for Christmas. I'll do my best to get anything out every single day after that still, but I can't guarantee it'll make it on time for Christmas. way to school. What is it? Green herbs and wild herbs do you commonly look for when you're foraging? You know, I haven't found a lot of forage on my property. When I do go out, I found some purslane. In the springtime, there's like tons of different stuff that comes up, like asparagus out there. You know, knotweed. I like to make like a knotweed, which is like a rhubarb. Make like a knotweed. I think it's called knotweed. I'm horrible. I hate to talk about foraging and plants because I'm visual. Like, and working with my hands. So whenever it comes to me foraging with plants, I can picture and remember the stuff from books, but I can't tell you guys about it very well. So I don't do foraging videos because I can't remember the names of anything to save my life, you know? Around here, it's easy to find purslane, mushrooms. There isn't any really great things that are out there. Like, I don't find them commonly in my woods and stuff. Like some, you know, really vegetably strong stuff outside of the small asparagus-y like milkweed shoots that are young and cattail shoots and things like that. How would you prepare for mental how do I prepare for mental loneliness? I did it before and I had to figure it out on the fly, which was writing that wizard story in my head. You can see that in the 87 Days series when I tell the whole plot line of the story. It's just, there isn't any preparing for it. I lived in a 12-foot yurt with my two girls and my wife before I left. And there wasn't any preparing for it. There isn't. You don't know if you have the fortitude to do it until you get out there and do it. There's no, because even now, if you go out for a weekend, it's not the same. You go through these different stages of, like, you know, frustration and anxiety and loneliness and just, you know, insomnia and nightmares from like you think you're home but you should still be there because you're trying to compete and you know, just a general unsettledness, and then you're at peace with your situation as you know, work it out between you and your creator, and it's like it just you just gotta tough it out. I did find more reeds. The boat is coming. That's why I titled this Epic Fail. The boat is not going to be in today's video because I didn't manage to get enough of it done to justify a video. I was hoping to have like one pontoon of it and sit on it and look like I was paddling it, and enough of the work was done so that you could see it and it looked good, but it just didn't pan out. And but I am this afternoon at like 3 o'clock, so somewhere between 3 and 5 o'clock I will be finished. I did switch gears last minute yesterday, and I made a video about the Strike Anywhere matches, how to make your own Strike Anywhere matches. So, and then I'm calling them survival matches kind of too, because I waterproofed them and I replaced the ones that are in my hat, which are just for shooting at with my slingshot normally. But now I have waterproof Strike Anywhere matches in my hat, and so I show you how to make them in today's video. Would you design a Fowler coffee mug? A Fowler coffee mug? I don't know. I never really thought about it. I mean, it's like anything I populate with my website from, it's like takes a bunch of money, and then there's like these websites you can go and they do stuff for you, stickers and all that, but you got to redirect people to go there. So like if you were to buy a t-shirt from my website, and then you'd have to go somewhere else to buy something else. And so I'm just sticking with whatever I can purchase and put on the website. I think stickers are the next thing that are going to be coming. Some with the beard logo and the cross shovel and slingshot. And then after that, I really want a slingshot. I've got 2 of them that I've been playing with. My speed shooter that I shoot stuff out of the air with and do the speed shooting with. And so I'm thinking about turning that into a slingshot for sale, and this new horn one that I've been shooting with instinctively, and the shape of it, I'm really loving the shape of it, so I'm thinking about changing the shape just slightly and keeping that same design to it that just naturally, you know, it kind of gives a cool story. Like the slingshot just, you know, I ended up carving it out of an antler, and it's like, I love it so much, I think everybody else would too. So I want to get a slingshot in this next new year onto the market, at least 2 of them of my own design, and then a sling bow before I go on alone again, should the opportunity arise. Did you miss the most In Patagonia, what did I miss the most? I actually missed my daughter, Abby, my stepdaughter. Her and I spent all this time palling around out in the yard, and she was always following me all over the place. And it was like, I missed Jamie and I missed Sparrow, but Sparrow was just born. She was like just a year old, and she was mama's girl. And now, like, Sparrow and I are little buddies, and Abby's older, and she runs off and does her own thing all the time, and is a little bit more by herself, and like, just become a little bit more of a loner. And so it's like, now I would definitely miss Sparrow the most. So it's like, it's like Mom, though, Jamie, she's independent and stuff, and so I don't worry about her as much. I miss her, I love her, but it's, it's something about the kids. It's like they really, the whole family pulls on your heartstrings, but my littles, they when I was away, they pulled on my heartstrings more than anything else. That was hard. And as far as food, I miss pizza. If you saw the show, you know that. I talk about it all the time. And what is your opinion about President Trump? President Trump, isn't that one of those things you're not supposed to talk about? You're like not supposed to talk about religion and presidents, and I don't care. I don't mind talking about it. I think that's sissy stuff. Like, oh, we don't talk about politics or things like that. But I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about Trump. I'm not worried about whoever's president, because I feel like, personally, I trust in, God, and I feel like he's got the whole world in his hands. And, I trusted him with my life out there in Patagonia. I could trust him with our country here in America. I don't care who's president or what they're doing or how close we are to nuclear war, if we're in the middle of nuclear war. I feel like I can trust God for my family, and I can trust God for my president and what, what he has. Like my dad always said, he is behind all the scenes, moving all the scenes he is behind. I'm talking about God, not President Trump. So, what about trauma kit? Trauma kit. Trauma kit? I don't know. What about a trauma kit? Japanese knotweed. Yeah. Good stuff. Makes a nice rhubarb. Yes, but the young ones. You only want the shoots that are, you could tell. You snap it and it snaps. It snaps. If it gets to be like rhubarb and you break it and it's fibrate, then that's not so tasty. Did you know how Creek Stewart is? No, I don't know who Creek Stewart is. Like I said, when I watch YouTube, I don't watch survivalists. I mean, I have seen some of them and stuff, and I watch Wallwack and a video here and there of the wooded beardsmen, and a video here and there of some other survivalists, mainly just to see what they're up to and stuff like that, and watch the highlights. When I'm personally watching stuff, I watch stuff about how to do better YouTube. I love watching YouTube videos about what's happening with YouTube and the algorithm. I love watching YouTube videos about how to film, new camera equipment, new technology, how to edit, how to do a cool cut, a whip cut, or all these things, so I can make a better video. Because for me, it's all about making stuff, whether it's making a mess with a bunch of bottles, and I was able to clean that very quickly. I should have put that in the video, because like 90 people asked me how it's going to take you hours to clean up all that glass. There was a 40 by 20 piece of plastic underneath there. I just rolled it up. It wasn't a big deal. I was even able to dump it out and recycle. Great question. Survival, passion, and love. So yeah, I mean, it's all about making stuff for me. So watching videos that teaches me things to help me make more stuff is what I watch. And if I want to learn about making bushcrafty stuff, I pick up a book. Most of the time, like when it came to the Reed boat, I looked up a couple of videos, and I couldn't even keep my attention span long enough to watch them. They were just so boring. And so I just looked at some pictures, and I said, yeah, I know, I'm gonna go from there. And it's coming along awesome. The Reed boat is gonna be so awesome next Sunday, so it's gonna be a great like Christmas Eve thing. It's gonna be so cool. I'm very excited about it. Paddling around in that thing. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be great. If you guys haven't hit me up on Facebook, or make sure you go over to my website, Fowler's Makery and Mischief.com, and subscribe. I'm going to start, there's a links there and stuff, because there's articles that are coming out. Backwoodsman's going to be running some of my articles next year and things like that. So if you're subscribed to the website, as soon as I start putting this newsletter together, you'll get notifications of stuff like that. And when I start doing the Patreon, so if you sign up for that to donate to the so I can keep making YouTube videos, you'll be able to get excerpts from the book as it's being written. I do own one firearm. I own two. One's broke and one's I just don't see any need for them. You know, I like to hunt, but I got my 32-20 that was from my grandfather, and I haven't had a chance to hunt with the being gone and alone and all this other stuff going on. It's not a huge priority for me right now. Until things settle in, I'm hoping next year to change all that, have more time for it, and really get back into the hunting and stuff. I've been outside crafting and playing in the woods and hiking and sledding with the kids and all that stuff, and settling into the new house and trying to get this place buttoned up. I got a vlog coming about that, about what it takes to button up an old farmhouse. Man, we had plastic on every window, spray foam. Must have been, I'm through like 50 cans of spray foam by now. It's more like 5, but it feels like 50. All the different places trying to plug holes. If you're walking around, you feel the air coming out of everywhere. Got 2 wood stoves going in here on cold days. Just figuring out this whole thing. It was like so easy to heat the yurt back up there in the woods with you throw a twig in there and warms the whole place up for the afternoon. What about your people getting into, what about young people getting into bushcraft? What about young people getting, I don't know. What you do for yourself, entertaining myself in Patagonia. If you go back in the 87 Days series, you can see the one where I tell the story about how I wrote a wizard story in my head. That's what I did to entertain myself. I'd tell stories to myself. Or I'd talk to the camera. I'd say, what are we going to talk about today? Spider-Man versus Superman. Who would win? They're both nice guys. They both end up like, fight. It would be horrible. It would be like the most boring movie ever, the two of them against each other. I talk to the camera. That's how I entertained myself. I thought about it as like I'm talking to future America. A Fowler patch. No, that's a good idea though. Like everybody's been getting into the patches. They put in all the jackets now come with Velcro on them, and I just like ordered one from SimpleShot. I just had to have a slingshot shooter for life patch, and I got a Rebel Scum on the other arm of my jacket. That jacket you can see right here in the picture. It's got the it says Rebel Scum from with Star Wars and the Millennium Falcon on it, and the other side's gonna have the slingshot shooter for life. What did you have for first aid? In Patagonia, we had a first aid kit, just a basic first aid kit with a tourniquet and things like that for emergencies. And then we had our 3 pieces of radio equipment: radio, satellite, and another satellite. So we were, if something happened, we called it in. Do you show how to do a reed raft on your hut? The reed boat is coming. That's why I call this video epic fail. I did not manage to get enough of the boat done to justify, making you guys watch a video of it. So next week, next Sunday morning, Christmas Eve day, you can watch it Christmas Eve day. You can watch it Christmas Day with the whole family gather around. I'm going to have the boat done, be out paddling it, and it's going to be awesome. It's coming out so nice. I can't wait for you guys to see it. But I will have a video out this afternoon, sometime after between 3 and 5 o'clock. I did the video, if you've seen the one in the turkey video where I was like, hey, should I make my own, show you guys how I make my Strike Anywhere matches? I made my own Strike Anywhere matches again. This time I filmed it, and we waterproof them, so I'm calling them like super survival matches. These things are awesome. Greetings from Tokyo, Japan. Wow, that's a long ways. Wait, what time is it there? It's got to be like some nasty hour. Amen, amen. Wow, man. There's a lot of you guys in here today. I might have to start... live streams are going to be like very important if I want to ever answer any of your questions, because the views on my channel have, in 2 weeks, took off. I got 1 million views in 2 weeks, which is like, you know, I haven't even had half that many over the entire first 6 months of my video. YouTube finally just, they said I'm getting a lot of good view time, and it just, boom, it took off. Chevy is running good. The old truck, the front fender fell off, a little bit rusty, but she's still running. I like having an old beater truck. I feel guilty if I was driving up into the woods all the time with a nice truck. So I'm thinking that I'm actually just going to try and keep an old beater truck and maybe like a Subaru for, you know, Jamie's got the nice Subaru, and so we can like take trips to Vermont and stuff like that. And then someday I'll upgrade when somebody gives me a brand new truck. Maybe if Dodge steps up and gives me a brand new truck, then I'll drive a brand new truck up into the woods and beat on it. Admit that wilderness survival challenges are simply modern weight loss program for inexperienced young men. I wouldn't admit anything of the sort. I think that's over fixating on something to, you know, say that it's like a weight loss program, you know, and that like so many people over fixate. It's just like, oh, it's just a starvation contest. It's not a starvation contest. It's a who can eat the most and out-survive the other guys. So if some hungering going is going, if some mild starving is going on, or even extreme starving, that's part of the game, you know? It's to see who can provide the most for themselves where they're out there and be the victor. I don't care if, you know, it only looks like when they edit it, you know, that people are like belly aching and crying all the time. You see what, you know, 2 hours of my entire 87 days adventure, you know, and they see the second to last episode, like me, like crying about dandelion roots and being hungry. That was like 20 minutes of like 14 days worth of time. The rest of it, I was like singing and telling stories to myself about Spider-Man versus Superman and talking about what X-Men I would be if I had the choice of powers. I mean, I was having fun. I was fishing and I was making stuff. I made a whole net. You saw how much stuff I made. I made, you know, over 200 sets of spoons and chopsticks and, you know, and a whole bunch of other treasures and things to bring back for my kids. I wasn't idle and I wasn't sitting around bemoaning my situation and starving the whole time. I only felt hungry like 3 days out there where I really felt so hungry that, you know, it just like really sucked. And then the next day I caught a fish again and I was back into, you know, and my fish head soup tasted stronger and I was feeling good. You eat any while on alone. In Cambion? Nope, I didn't. And at the right time of year, yes, it's worth harvesting. Who can find, eat the most food? Who can? Yeah, exactly. It's who can find, eat the most food. It's a competition, you know. And I felt like I'm out there to survive, and I'm out there to survive the producers as well, you know, because they want to take you home if you haven't had enough to eat. And so I'm out there trying to look good and be cheerful. You know, if they're coming for a med check and I hear that they're coming for a med check, I'm wash my face. I'm looking, you know, doing everything I can to be presentable and be like, I'm ready to keep going. I'm ready to keep rocking this. Season 5 is out there or back or out there and back. I have no idea. I can't get any information, and not that I've tried all that hard. I mean, I don't want to know. I have a feeling that season 5 may break my record, you know, just because, like, you know, the new location, if it has food, it's not going to be that hard. I don't think it'll be that hard to be 87 days. It's the loneliness thing, and I think 87 days is like the edge of sanity when it comes to surviving alone and putting 10 people in. The odds that 9 people, you know, because it takes at least 9 people to make it that far, for one person to make it past that time is very slim, but it's very doable, and especially when they know that you have somebody to push past their record of 87 days. So I see Season 5 beating my record by maybe 100, 110 days. But then again, at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if it only went 82 days. In Patagonia, was there enough? There was no wild edibles for me. I had plantain, which I ate a couple leaves to try to keep up vitamins and minerals. And I'd have a couple leaves every other day. I did try to eat a whole fistful of plantain one day as like a salad when I didn't have anything else except for some grubs and fish head soup. And after you ate like a little bit of it, actually I ate kind of quite a bit of it, your whole mouth goes numb, and I was like, this isn't working, and I had this horrible taste in my mouth for like 24 hours, and I'm like, that's no good. So I just eat one leaf every other day, or every day, depending on how often I found them, which was very rare. What was all the prohibited items you were not allowed? You have to look at the website to see their list of prohibited items. There wasn't really anything that I can think of on the list that's prohibited outside of, like, you know, you can't bring a gun, you can't bring a compound bow, and you know, you can't bring any like wire snares with the clasps on them, that the locks on them and things like that. You can bring wire, but not the lockers and things like that. You can't bring anything that's beyond primitive technology. If you're just tuning in, I had epic fail. I was not able to get the boat done and the video far enough along to share that with you guys this week. I will be putting out a video this afternoon at about 3 o'clock about how to make your own Strike Anywhere matches and waterproof them. So the matches that are in my hat are now the new ones that are waterproofed, and calling them like Strike Anywhere survival matches. You can make your own. These things, awesome. The video is coming along pretty good too. And I'll be finished with that, and I'll put that out this afternoon somewhere between 3 and 5 o'clock. But the video next Sunday, though, Christmas Eve day, it's going to be awesome, epic, even paddling the new reed kayak, or canoe. It's more of a canoe. How many grubs make a meal? I found about 5 of them make enough that you stave off the hunger with that, and including that with a pot of fish head soup. I had 5, and I didn't feel like I ever went to bed hungry. There was only 3 nights out there that I went to bed and I was just like, oh, I'm so hungry. You know, that night not even that night I was crying about the dandelion roots. It was a different night, you know, because after I ate those dandelion roots, I actually felt pretty decent. Are you allowed to find your competitors? You're not allowed to find your competitors, and I think you have to stay in your zone. You have a little locator that you ever seen Running Man with Schwarzenegger, or isn't it right? You know, you go too far, our collars blow your heads off. No, they don't. We joked about that before I went out there, but. Part of our radio equipment would beep and tell us to turn back. We had a territory, something like, I don't know, could have been like 10 square miles. I only ever went out of it once because it was just so dense and so hard to move around past my zone. And they kind of like mapped them out for that purpose. Like, you kind of run into a, you know, cliff or whatever, and you don't have a choice, you know, for the most part. My diet, I had to switch to a ketogenic diet because I just couldn't stop being hungry after I got home, and gained a bunch of weight back. And then we bought the house, or before we bought the house, I balanced out with a ketogenic diet. I bought the house and started gaining weight again after back to eating carbs, and just was always hungry all the time. And now I'm still doing ketogenic diet and intermittent fasting at the same time. So I only eat once a day, or during a 4-hour period, I eat like a meal and a half, from like 4 o'clock to 8 o'clock at night. And I find it extremely efficient, and not to have to deal with making meals during the day. And I feel very energized. I have, you know, I get probably 5 hours of sleep a night, and I'm always jazzed. I don't know. It's so much better for me. I always had a hard time getting out of bed in the morning, but since I've been on the ketogenic diet, I wake up, you know, and I'm out of bed 4:15 in the morning. I'm up, get to spend some time editing, you know, writing, working on the book, things like that, and then on with my day. they threaten you about bringing hidden items, you know, and I think for me it's a matter of integrity. I would never cheat or bring a hidden item. It doesn't mean I'm not gonna try to bring as many hacks as possible. Like, as you guys know, I brought a ton of hacks out there to my gear. There was a ton of stuff that I brought, and some didn't work, and some did work. There was, you know, like if you watch my think mostly my first and second video in the 87 days series have all the hacks that I did out there in the videos. It talks about my clothing hacks and how my vest was, I removed the liner of my jacket and zipped my vest into the jacket as the liner by adding a zipper and installing that, because vests were not allowed, but a liner inside your jacket was. So when I got there, I could remove it, because I only ever, here in Maine, I only ever wear my vest and a fleece, and I don't like to wear jackets if I can help it. But it was a matter of integrity, and when I knew they were coming to do med checks and checking our weight, I was actually thinking about putting rocks in my pocket and getting on the scales and stuff, and being weighed that way, and so that I could, you know, increase my weight and not get pulled from the show. And I decided it was I would not feel right if I had cheated, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna have integrity about this, and I'm gonna trust God that, you know, he's going to give me the strength to make it through this and enough food that I don't lose weight and don't get pulled from the show before the others. And I feel like it paid off, you know. So I don't have any regrets there, obviously. And even if I had lost, I wouldn't have any regrets there, because I feel like, you know, I operated with integrity, and that's the most important thing. What book? Oh, my book. I'm writing my book. 87 days. I haven't gotten permission for it yet. There was something about, like, so it might actually end up being called that and be, I don't know, whatever. But I'm writing it anyways, and you know, figure out the rest of it in the end. I'm still under contract with History, so there's some question about. I'm thinking it's just a question of review to make sure that I'm not revealing some secrets. This is what they said, but there aren't any secrets. It's just what you see on the show. There's, you know, there's no, you know, the only secret is that they film a lot of the B-roll, you know, wherever they're staying, and when you're watching it on TV, like, a lot of that B-roll that you see of, like, slow pans of mushrooms and trees is not our footage, you know. So you're missing out. That's the only secret, is which everybody knows and complains about. You're missing out seeing us do more stuff and just too much plain old scenery, you know. Would you take urban survival situation? Just my EDC. I'm always ready. That's, you know, my everyday carry. I got survival cards in my wallet with lock picking kit, fishing hooks, you know, all that stuff. I'm all geared up. The only thing I don't have in my EDC kit, you know, which is like, because they're not weighing me down, is fishing line. I'm gonna try it. I kind of keep remembering to, like, look up one of those, like, if I could use dental floss, one of those dental floss credit cards, or if I get a credit card that's stuffed with fishing line that, like, has a dispenser, you know, so that I could include fishing line in my EDC, because I have a, you know, I can make fishing line out of trash bags and stuff like that, but it would be nice to have, you know, I got everything else in my wallet and in my pockets without having any extra weight, you know, being too crazy. If you want to see my EDC, you can see that in one of my videos. I did a live stream and showed all my everyday carry, and since then I've only added one more thing, the what do they call them, the lens there that you can use to start a fire. There's a credit card size one. Did you use solar? No, we didn't use solar panels. When they came for the med checks every couple weeks, they would bring us these battery packs, Anchor battery packs. Let's see if I got one right here. And we could use them like this. I can't show you. There's the Anchor pack. It's got my address engraved on it. Not that I'd care. I don't worry about you guys. But these things are, and it's got a little flashlight too. And these things can, you know, charge our headlamps and batteries. And they brought us piles of batteries, so we were able to survive out there and just keep going. Have you had a Victorinox Swiss Army knife? I've always had a Swiss Army knife. If you haven't seen Fowler, check it out. I've always had a Swiss Army knife. I don't have it on me right now. It's in the other room, in my pants. I'm still wearing my early morning like karate pants for pajamas. Watching you on alone. I would love to go on another season. I hope I get the chance. I'm just, you know, I want to go out and defend my title, and I got a feeling. I think season 5 people, because you know the person's record before, you're gonna push to beat that record at least, you know. So unless everybody went out there was all skinny, you know, and wasn't able to, which I seriously doubt, you know, wasn't able to gain enough weight before they went out, and they were all pulled before 87 days, I imagine that people in season 5 are gonna beat my record, and I'll have to go out there and try to set a new one again, which is going to be crazy because they're probably not going to invite me out unless it's against Alan and all the other winners, whoever those are, and that is, yeah. So that's crazy. That's going to be a lot of work to outlast those guys because they never quit, you know. So who knows how long they can make it. Pair. Yeah, I'd love... Swiss Army did send me a message and said they'd like to talk, and then I haven't heard anything from them, but it is Christmas time, you know, so that was like 3 weeks or 4 weeks ago, and it's like, to get back to you around Christmas time, I'm going to call them, send them another message and bug them again. They loved the McFowler video. If you guys haven't seen it yet, where I unlocked the car with my Swiss Army knife, I want to do more McFowlers coming up. I got a Lars Anderson video I'm working on, hopefully for this coming week, of... copying Lars. It's going to be Lars Fowler Anderson. If you haven't seen Lars Anderson, he's awesome. He shoots a bow on YouTube. He just released a new one where he curves an arrow, and I'm going to do one where I'm Lars Fowler Anderson, but with a slingshot, you know? So all that stuff that he does, I'm going to mimic it. You know, all the crazy shots of shooting things out of the air and shooting like 3 shots at a time while you're jumping and stuff like that. I'm going to copy all of that, but with a slingshot, and call it Lars Fowler Anderson. And so that's coming up, and we got this afternoon. If you just tuned in, I didn't manage to finish the boat, so that's next week for the 87-day series. But this afternoon, I did make the video on how to make your own Strike Anywhere matches and waterproof them so that they're a great survival match. And that's what's going on now in my hat, so they're not just for show anymore, which is why I stuck them in there originally. I put them in there to go out and shoot them at them on my target, and I was just like, yeah, these are cool. And like the old song there, stuck a noodle in his hat and called it macaroni. Well, and so these matches have been there ever since. And but now they're functional, you know, because they're coated with wax. So anytime I want, these things go off real well. If you're going on alone again, would you like to compete against others? Past show winners. Yeah, I would probably be the only way they would invite me back on the show is if I was going against other past winners. I mean, there's only 2 ways I see us being invited back on, is if it's winners against winners, fan favorites, or teaming us up with new people or something like that. Like random team, you know, Alan with Joe Smo from the gas station and Fowler with a celebrity. I don't know, something like, you know, just like where they stuck us with some random other person, or they stuck us with celebrities to make it harder or something. Do during Christmas. What is a tradition that you do during Christmas? We go to Christmas Eve service. We read the Christmas story. You know, not the Santa Claus story, but the one about the guy that Christmas is actually about, Jesus. You know, and then we get up on Christmas morning and open Christmas presents. Nothing too special. You know, we try to pass them out slowly, and then it gets faster and more built up and more drama, and then there's usually tears from one of the littles or somebody, you know, by the end of it. If you haven't seen my video from last year, Christmas time, you can check it out. Abby, I made her a wand in Patagonia that it's called It's a Real Wand, and that wand, we took it outside and we rigged a stuffed animal, so when she waves the wand at it, it blows up, and she still thinks it's a real wand, and the wand is on the shelf here in a box so that I'll grab it. So yeah, so she still thinks that this wand is a real wand, and so she doesn't play with it because she's afraid to blow up her sister with it. And that's the wand. It's set into a velvet liner. I carved that in Patagonia for her, and I gave it to her for Christmas, and it turned out awesome. This took me like 5 or 6 days to carve, just working away at it and stuff. And because she had just started liking Harry Potter before I went on the show, so I was thinking about her a lot. And yeah, so check that out. It's a real wand. It's a great little Christmas video. And that's cool. World. I'm surprised so many people are still thinking about Patagonia. Yeah, about a loan and stuff. Is there a new cold steel shovel out? I don't think there's a new cold steel shovel out. You can get them autographed on my website, and anything that you purchase on my website before the 18th, I guarantee it will get to you. Unless they lose it in the mail, and then I can't help you there. But I will send you a new one. How much prayer time did you get on a loan? All the time. Every time I was going up and down the hill, I was like, dear Lord God, please have there be a fish down there. When I get down, you know, and going down to check my situation, Lord, please let there be a fish. I'm so hungry, you know. No, I talk to God a lot more than that. But, you know, there's especially one day I had this really amazing day where I was just, it was miserable for a week, and I hadn't had much to eat, and I'm sitting on my dock, and I'm just like, oh, God, give me the strength to go on. And it cleared up, and this beautiful rainbow was just blasted across the other valley. And I just remembered, you know, God's promise to Noah that, you know, he would never flood the earth again, and that he had a provision for him to see him survive. And I was just like, oh, thank you, Lord. You know, thank you for that. You know, so that was cool. Made it any longer? Made it anybody longer than 87 days. It's from Germany. I don't know if nobody's made it, as far as I know, any longer than 87 days. Yes, I am a Christian. Do you expect the kayak to last for... I expect the kayak to last for a long time. I'm making this, I'm going to hang it, I'm going to use it in the salt water in next week, and it'll be in this next week's video. What did your wife miss most? She missed me being part of our family's life, I think, while I was gone. Do collaboration with Joe Robinette. That is how I found Alone and You. We'll see. I haven't heard anything from Joe, and I don't know if I've ever sent him a message or anything. You know, he has his own thing that he does, and I got my own thing that I do, and it'd be fun to do something should our paths ever crossed. I work with right now with Drop Forward Survival and the Wooded Beardsman, and we do collaborations a little bit, like through the mail and stuff. And we're trying to do more collaborations coming up soon, and trying to get Brooke in on it so that we can all be doing some stuff. And I think I'm gonna do a dollar store survival thing. We got a Family Dollar here, so I think I'm gonna get on top of that and do a Family Dollar survival video this week before Christmas too. So, but I think I'm gonna do it like a spoof and just do some fun stuff, like literally pick the weirdest possible things and then do some cool survival stuff with them, instead of like going in there and be like, I'm buying the dollar knife and the dollar thing of rope. And it's like, if you're just gonna buy a dollar survival stuff that is the same thing as buying expensive paracord, but you're gonna buy a dollar clothesline and then go and survive with it all for $10, it's not much of a challenge. I don't understand that whole $10 survival challenge. I'm gonna buy like kids' toys and some random foolishness, and then still go and survive with it for a day, 24 hours. Thank you. Thanks for watching. What did you guys say? Do you know what Cody at... No, I don't. Nope, don't know Cody. I'm horrible with names, though. I could recognize somebody if I saw him, but it's like, names. That's why I don't do videos on plants, because I just, it's so much work for me to get the right name of a plant out of my head. I can identify plants, but I cannot say the names of them to save my own life. I can pick the right ones to save my own life, but not say the names of them. Any stunts other than cold water submersion survival? Have I done any other stunts rather than I've survived an awful lot? You know, a motorcycle blowing the tire at 80 miles an hour. You know, I definitely have God looking out for me, considering some of the foolish things that I've managed to survive. But I haven't pulled any other stunts like that. I am thinking about doing a falling through the ice video, but that will be, I'm not going to sit there and like start a fire after doing it. I was going to just do a how to fall through the ice and get yourself out, and I was just going to get out, get into the truck, get warmed up, but show you how to, when you fall through the ice, how to get out of the ice with a tool and without a tool. And if you don't have anything on you but you fall through the ice, which if you're out there ice fishing, you should always have a tool. I mean, they literally have the most simple things now that can go, they go on like vests that people can put on, and it's got two like pitons or whatever, that little thing with a spike, and you just boom, you just chunk, 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 and drag yourself out of the ice. Very simple. Keep your weight down low and work your way like 15 to 20 feet from the hole that you fell through before, you know, rolling, and then so your weight is dispersed as much as possible before you get up and go. So I was thinking about doing a video on that and actually going through the ice for entertainment value and to show how to do it. What do you think about Urban Primitive Survival Fire Challenge? Urban Primitive Survival. I did that, didn't I? With the survival video with the homeless guy. Showed him how to start a fire in the urban situation. I didn't know there was an Urban Primitive Survival Challenge, Fire Challenge. I'll have to look into that. Cold Steel can't keep that shovel in. No, Cold Steel cannot keep that shovel in stock. It sells like hotcakes. Thank you for thanking me for everything I do. I really appreciate you guys with all your views. It's really making this channel like awesome. You know, you guys watch, share, like, and make sure you hit that bell icon, because if you watch the video the sooner you watch the video when it goes up, the more YouTube says, hey, this is valuable, and they will share it with more people. So when YouTubers like us are like, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell icon and share and things like that, we're not just saying that to like get your likes so that we can get a paycheck. It doesn't have anything to do with that. As far as like creators that love to create like I do, it's because if you guys view it early on, and if you share, and if you interact with it and like and comment, those things tell YouTube it has value. And of course, you wouldn't do those things if it didn't have value. And then they promote my stuff. Just like recently, I went from, in 6 months, I did what takes a lot of people 3 years, because I put the time and I put the work in, and then people had high amount of watch time, and YouTube said, hey, this has value, and they shared it with a bunch of people, and I just doubled the subscribers and doubled the amount of views, and I just thank you guys so much for that. I got to get going. It's time to get off to church. So I'm going to see you guys later. We'll talk next week, and this afternoon, be sure to check it out. The 87 days video will be out next week, but this afternoon, somewhere between 3 and 5 o'clock, I will post the how to make your own strike anywhere matches. We'll show you how they work, and I even got a match light in there for when I light one of them with my slingshot. And I am off to, I think that's pretty much everything. And if you haven't ordered something on my website, you can order it now. Order it by 18th, and you get it on time. And I will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Fowler out. If I can figure out how to sign off.